Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. On the night of, let's say, Thursday and morning of Friday, the 29th of December, Russia launched its biggest missile and drone attack on Ukraine since the beginning of this garbage in Ukraine. And even though the Russians launched about 158 missiles and rockets and drones, the Ukrainians claim that they had some success. I have here about 8 articles to look into the whole matter here. I have all the media except the Russian media that I use here, because the Russians usually don't say much about their attacks. They just say it's being confirmed, the targets were hit, and that's it. So let's start with this little article here from CNN, okay? That's the one that you try to build trust or credibility. So we're going to use CNN to build, credibility. Russia unleashes biggest air attack on Ukraine since start of a full-scale invasion. I'm going to go just skim through them like I always do, and they tell us about how many people died, how many were injured. They used hypersonic missiles, they used cruise missiles, they used S-300s, but this is not the one I want to use for more information. I'm going to go to Ukrainska Pravda. Russia launches 110 missiles, but we will strike back, Zelensky said. 110 missiles. And it says here, today Russia launched almost everything it has in its arsenal. BS. I mean, how do you know that? Kinzhal hypersonic missiles, S-300 anti-aircraft missiles, cruise missiles, and UAVs, strategic bombers, I think about 9 or so, we have to find out here. Launch KH-101/KH-505 missiles. Approximately 110 missiles were launched, and most of them were shot down. Unfortunately, people were killed during the attack. And let's go to the next one, which is again Ukrainska Pravda. Morning attack on Ukraine, at least 23 killed and over 100 injured. So we have here, it says that Klitschko, we're going to have the oblast hit. So Lviv Oblast is where the Poles will take over at one point. I greatly suspect that will happen because they were, how should I put it, that's a territory that they really claim, not really overtly, but covertly. This is the area with Lvov or Lviv. This is Poland right here. So this is where they said the article claims the Russians hit in Lvov. And then we got to Dnipropetrovsk, Odessa. Dnipropetrovsk is right here by the, let me just do it like this. Dnipropetrovsk, this area, and then Odessa is here by the Black Sea. This is Romania, this is Moldova. And then Kharkiv Oblast, this is in the far east, it's right here. So in the north of the front. And Zaporozhye Oblast, and this is what's important here. Let's see, Zaporozhye Oblast is right here where the counteroffensive is occurring, or it's already done, by the Sea of Azov. This is Zaporozhye. During the massive attack on Ukraine, the Russians used 158 means of air attack, missiles of various types and attack UAVs. 27 Shaheeds and 87 cruise missiles were destroyed. So 87 and 27. DPA International, again Friday, December 29th. Kiev, Ukraine suffers largest Russian attack since start of the war. And again, he says 122 rockets and cruise missiles and 36 drones had targeted the country, with air defenses intercepting 70% of the attacks. The attacks took place in several waves and from different directions, with Russia deploying strategic bombers to launch their missiles. I think I saw somewhere they were about 9 that they were launched. And let's see what these guys are saying. And we have here, according to Ukrainians, according to the Ukrainian Air Force, the previous biggest assault was in November 2022, when Russia launched 96 missiles against Ukraine. This year, the biggest one was 81 missiles on March 9th, Air Force records show. Let's go to the next one. The Canadian press. Russia fires 122 missiles, 36 drones, and I'm going to have them one by one what kind of drones and missiles they sent. They launched. The Ukrainian Air Force intercepted most of the ballistic and cruise missiles and the Shahid type drones overnight, but Zaluzny said. This is important, and I'll tell you why. I have never seen Zaluzny, General Zaluzny, being allowed to come out and make a statement on the overnight attack. Never. This is the first time when I see him being allowed to come out and say, well, we were attacked by this amount, blah, blah. Or maybe he came out and he made some statements, but he was never featured, if you know what I mean. He was just kept aside from being able to do this, even though he's the first one who's informed, not Zelensky, because Zelensky is informed by the military and not vice versa. So we're going to go to the next article. Right here from the New Voice of Ukraine. Ukraine intercepts now 114 out of 158 missiles and drones in Russia. Largest attack on Ukraine of the war. Now, I picked more articles because the numbers just differ a little bit. And even though they are all, who makes the communiques, but probably is the time. Again, we have here Zaluzny again featured. Let me show you. In the first, so this is the article from the New Voice of Ukraine. And again, Ukraine intercepts 114 out of 158. Again, Commander-in-Chief Zaluzny. Is this like an attempt to bring him in the, how do you call it, in the political sphere? Now we have here, Air Forces in cooperation with Defense Forces of Ukraine destroyed 27 Shahid, 87 cruise missiles. And it says that around 3 o'clock a.m., December 29th, Russia deployed 18, sorry, not 9, what the hell was I talking about? 18 Tupolev 95 MS bombers. I've never heard this amount. They have 18 workable, functional bombers. By around 6 o'clock a.m., they launched at least 90 cruise missiles. Around the same time, Russian forces launched 8 cruise missiles, X-22 and X-32, from Tupolev 22 M3 bombers in the Kursk region. So these guys, so they did 18 Tupolev 95 and 2 22M. So let's see how these guys are looking. So here is a Tupolev 95, beautiful airplane. And then we're going to go to Tupolev 22 M3. I think those are the white swans. Let's see, it's Tupolev 22 right here. The ones that have these beautiful wings that they change the angle depending on the speed, cruise speed. They turn back, and when they take off, they turn like this, I guess. Have beautiful airplanes, beautiful. So there were 18 of these, right? And how many of the other ones? And they don't say how many were the other ones, these ones. And I'm going to show you these ones took off from Kursk region. So Kursk region is where that famous battle right here between the Wehrmacht, Germans and the Soviets occurred right here. At the same time, the invaders struck Kharkiv with S-300 surface-to-air guided missile. In total, at least 14 S-300 and S-400 Iskander ballistic missiles were launched from temporarily occupied Crimea. Southern Crimea were S-300 and S-400 Iskander, Crimean Peninsula, and Russia's Kursk and Belgorod. So let's go to Crimean Peninsula right here in the south. Launch from here, and then we go to Belgorod and Kursk. Kursk is where I mentioned here. Okay, and Belgorod is, oh wait a second, and Belgorod is right here. This is Belgorod region, this is Kursk. S-300, S-400s, and Iskander. At 6 a.m. in Russia, Astrakhan Oblast, 5 MiG-31, these are with the Kinzhals, jets were deployed, firing 5 Kh-47M2 Kinzhal ballistic missiles. 5. Additionally, Russian Sukhoi 35 aircraft attacked with 4 Kh-31P anti-radar missiles and 1 Kh-59. Hits were recorded in Odessa, Kharkiv, Zaporozhye, Lviv, Dnipro, Kiev, and other cities. Russian forces targeting residential. Okay, blah blah blah, tralala. So again, they used the MiG-31 for the Kinzhals, the ones when these, and Sukhoi 35. When the MiGs take off, these guys are all paralyzed because they think they're going to launch a nuclear attack, because the Kinzhals could be fitted with nuclear warheads, so they don't know if they're going to blow up Europe. Jesus Christ. Boogie boogie. Now let's go to the next article, and this is the last one. Ukrainska Pravda. Let's see how much all this cost, right? Latest large-scale attack on Ukraine cost Russia at least $1.27 billion in one attack. Rich country, right? How much money you got from us without being asked? Russia has spent at least $1.273 billion on its latest large-scale attack on Ukraine on the night of 28 December and early 29 December. And they're going to list here one by one the price of each thing that the Russians used. Here it is. The Russians launched a total of 36 Shaheds, kamikaze, at least 90 KH air-to-ground cruise missiles, 8 cruise missiles of Kh-22-32, 14 S-300, S-400 Iskander-M ballistic missiles, 5 Kinzhals, 4 anti-radar missiles, and 1 Kh-59 missile. Now, the Kinzhal hypersonic missile is estimated to cost $10 million or more, with a total cost of 5 launches being $50 million. As per information from open sources, Iranian-made Shahed cost from $20,000 to $50,000 per unit. Cheap. That is at least, that's a car, not even a car, a cheap car. This is at least 36 of these UAVs cost $720,000. That's about a house in California. Forbes estimates that the cost of Kh-101 missile equals $13 million, making the total cost of the deployed missiles $1.17 billion. Holy moly macaroni, these are the biggest ones. The cost of Kh-22 missile is estimated at $1 million, totaling $8 million that the Russians used for their attack. And Iskander-M ballistic missile is worth $3 million, and the total cost of all launched missiles of this type reached $42 million. Moreover, based on Forbes data, the cost of Kh-31P and Kh-59 missiles stands at $0.5 million each, bringing the total cost to $2.5 million. Therefore, Russia was wasted, well, according to one side, a total of $1.273,222,000 worth of missiles and drones for its attack on Ukraine on the night of December 28-29. Well. So this is, the police here in the United States of America. Sometimes you see them at the end of the month, and people say, well, it's all over to get you to with a radar. They try to catch up to fulfill the requirements of the month with how many tickets they give. That's how they say. I don't think that's accurate, but anyway, that's true. Anyway, not impossible, but you see them usually at the end of the month everywhere for about 4 or 5 days, and then they disappear. So maybe these guys are trying to hit the target of the expenses so they can claim the next year, hey, we need more, we're depleted, like these guys are doing here. They send their missiles to Ukraine, and then they tell Japan to give them missiles. And obviously Rahm Emanuel, the Zelensky Stein US ambassador to Japan, is very important because you got a Zelensky Stein here, you got a Zelensky Stein in the Secretary of State and the whole Secretary of State here, the Foreign Ministry, let's put it this way, with Blinken, Newland, and another one, Sherman, yeah, that's her name. And then you go to Ukraine, you got another Zelensky Stein. It seems like it's a, but it seems, but it's not. Do not connect any fucking dots. I forbid you. Anyway, my friends, here it is. Massive attack, retaliatory for that vessel? No, I don't think so. It was too coordinated to occur in what, 3 days? Maybe not. If you think that these guys already had all this prepared for what, 1.5 years, they did it over and over and over. It's not that hard to put it in one night. Well, 159 missiles, rockets, drones, Kinzhaus, and I have an article next after this where the Ukrainians are going to complain that the Russians launched about 300, if I remember, 300 of a certain kind of weapon, and the Ukrainians were incapable of shooting it down. Now that's an important one. That's the advertising for the next video. No, but I was like, oh yeah, oh, shit, you really report such a thing? Yes, they did. Well, what are they gonna do? Use Patriot systems again? They said they couldn't hit them down. Anyway, here it is, my friends. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.